All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alex, your toxic dating coach. We're going to talk about five insecurities that turn men off in a relationship. Okay, um, these are the things that whenever I see a woman do, I lose a little respect for her, and the more she does it, the more it kind of like inspires me to pull away. So we're going to talk about what that is and how to not do it, because a lot of these things, which is comes to the first point, comes from a past, and if you're not aware of them, you're not going to be able to control it. And for the most part, this is most likely ruining a lot of your relationships. Okay, so let's find out what this is. And so yeah, by the way, just to let you guys know, I have a course for women. It's called the Psychological Game of Attraction. It's a course for single women. You could purchase the link in the description down below. I have another one for women who are in relationships, which I will talk about at the end of the video. So look, the first one is actually, you know what? Let me go with the first one. I'm gonna switch it around. It's speeding things up. Okay, speeding things up in every aspect of the way. You don't like when guys speed it up to get the poom poom, right? You don't like that, right? So guys don't like it also when you want to speed up for marriage or for a relationship. Giving up the poom poom for a guy is pretty much committed to you in a way, right? I'm not that kind of guy, right? And when you want to speed things up, a lot of the reasons why you want to speed it up has nothing to do with him for the most part. Sometimes it could mean because you want to show off to your friends. You want to be part of the group who has a relationship. You want to show off that photo. You want to shut your mom up who's always asking you, when you're going to date a guy. Or you want to get married and stuff like that. So you have an end goal that you had a fantasy when you were a little kid. The point is that or better yet, you miss the feeling of being loved, and that's how you feel appreciated, right? Speeding things up will always ruin it. Speeding things up will make a guy who would have loved you and respect you to love but not respect you. And it's always better to be the one that's slower to the relationship. It's always better to be that one. So that's the first one, speeding things up. So you want to go at a snail's pace. And the reason why is because it makes a guy more impatient. It makes the guy wonder why you're going so slow. It makes the guy, and in fact, it's better off if you really want to make this to your benefit. Tell a guy how the last guy you were with, you got into a relationship with him quicker. How you got into a relationship with him in maybe a month or two. But with him, be a little slower. It'll actually offend the guy. It'll say, why did she speed it up with him and not me? Right? And it puts him in a sexually competitive state. All right? So that's the first one, speeding things up. The second one, trauma from the past. So trauma from the past could come in many different forms. One, it could be that maybe you stayed with a guy who cheated on you. And because he cheated on you, in order to stay with him, you demanded that he let you look at his text messages, that he let you look at his phone, have all of his passwords, right? That's an example. And so you got comfortable. You got used to having that kind of access. And you might not think it's trauma, but now really think about it. In order to feel secure with somebody, you have to control what they put on their phone and who they text, right? That's trauma. You become controlling, right? And that's why I always say, when somebody cheats on you, it's better off to leave, because the habit that staying with somebody that cheats on you creates will ruin your relationships, right? Other forms of trauma could be complete submission. You learned that if you submit to a guy 100%, well, Father Alex wouldn't. Okay, all right, no more toxicity because my classes might be watching, right? What was that? It will make you submissive, right? And so that submission that you have, that unwavering submission to a guy, kind of deep down makes them not respect you because they know you're not willing to walk away, right? So trauma from past relationships will always turn a guy off. So it could be that maybe you become super jealous because you've been cheated on, and you need to make sure what he's doing. You need to make sure who he's with. You don't trust other women because you stay with somebody who cheated on you, and so you kind of develop that habit of not trusting women, or having female friends. In those situations, unfortunately, you gotta take a break from dating people and see somebody to talk to. Okay, because those patterns of you, the way you think, will become reactivated once you date somebody who cheats on you, or once you just start dating somebody. So it's one of those unfortunate things, and that's a lot of ladies out there. So past trauma and controlling behavior. So that means that you'll demand that he shows you his text messages, or you'll sort of sneak a look into his text messages, and that becomes a whole vibe. And a guy could just feel the vibe that you're somebody that always needs to know what they're doing, and it suffocates them, and it actually attracts what you're trying to avoid. It actually, some guys might even feel like they need to cheat on you just to like fucking feel good about themselves because you're always there. You know what I'm saying? The second thing. Third thing, self-absorption. You're so self-absorbed with your problems and your concerns that you don't even pay attention to the guy. You're not even aware of his normal mood, of how he talks and behaves when he's happy, how he talks and behaves when he's sad. What's his normal way of talking when things are good? Because of that, you can't tell when he's trying to communicate to you something non-verbally. You can't tell when he wants to be heard. You can't tell when he feels down. Why? Because you're so self-absorbed. You're not paying attention to his nonverbal cues. You're only listening to the words. You're not making an effort to understand him. When you're talking to him, you're not making an effort to see what his face is saying. You're focusing so much on words. And that usually happens because you have so much need to be fulfilled. You feel so desperate that your focus is inward. You're not really listening. You're not really listening to his desires, to his values. And so you create a lot of misunderstandings, right? So what you have to do is be motivated to learn to read people. So this doesn't just is exclusively for the man you're talking to. This goes down to people in general. Like, you have to change your focus from yourself to other people and see people as fascinating, because people are really interesting. If you actually just stop focusing on people's words and just focus on their non-verbal cues, try to find out what are some of the ways they say no. They say, what some of the ways that somebody says no while saying yes. How does somebody react to you compared to somebody else? Pay attention to those things. How does he act normally? What's his normal body language? What's his normal way of talking? And pay attention anytime he deviates from it, because those things will help you understand him and he'll feel heard. The issue is that when you don't do that, you just create so much misunderstanding. You project your own problems onto them, and it creates unnecessary conflict, and that just comes from insecurity. When you're so self-absorbed, you're just going to create a lot of misunderstandings because you're not reading people. You know what I'm saying? The fourth thing, pattern of being right. You create a pattern where you just want to be right. I remember I lived with my aunt, and that was my aunt and her husband, where everything was about being right. Like, it got to that point where they argue so much where they didn't care about the truth. They just cared about being right. You know, like, they just cared about, hey, you didn't clean that up. You know, I told you to do it, you're not doing it, right? And so it's something that when you're with somebody and you just want to one up them because they beat you last time, or because they caught you on something, and now you want to make sure that they feel how it feels to get caught doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? It becomes petty. Trying to be right becomes a petty thing to be around. Okay? And a lot of times it isn't even about fixing the issue. It's about being right. It's about proving your point. And that pretty much comes down to your insecurities. That kind of stuff, nobody's gonna tolerate that shit. Fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna be with somebody who's always trying to be right in the conversation, who's always trying to prove a point, right? And for the most part, when you're in that kind of relationship, it's tiring. It's fucking tiring, you know. And I saw it with my aunt. Like, it was just. When I first saw her, I was like, I'll never want to be in that kind of relationship. And the last one is mental health. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, mental health, if you're somebody who has extreme cases of bipolar, and I'm sorry to say that because it's majority of women who go through it, you know. If you're too unstable, you're not going to find a stable relationship. It's just that simple. It is plain and simple. It is straight to the point. If you can't control your emotions, if you can't control the way you see the world, if you can't control who's right, if you're always on alert, if your parasympathetic nervous system is always on high mega alert, looking for the next time somebody's gonna hurt you, or even just having moments of extreme euphoria and then extreme depression. Unfortunately, a lot of guys won't put up with that unless you hide it until he falls in love with you, which then he'll have to deal with you. Well, and that's true, actually. It's not a bad thing. Some people will love you and deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to deal with it too. You get what I'm trying to say? It's not like I'm saying in a negative way, like they have to deal with you. But and this is why you don't speed things up. Because when you speed things up, you get so emotional that it could trigger some trauma, some mental health issue. You want to learn to be more in control. You want to put the knife down and be more in control. But generally speaking, man, is that when a woman's going through depression, or even if she doesn't know how to control that, you're gonna project onto the guy, and it's gonna ruin your relationships. You're gonna find reasons to argue. You're gonna push him away, and that kind of stuff. A healthy guy is not going to tolerate it. An unhealthy guy will tolerate it because he loves the chaos. But any guy that's worth your time is not going to tolerate that kind of stuff. And you want that, because if he tolerates it, you're going to lose respect and spaz out on him even more. But generally speaking, let me tell you something, man. The last one is what guys look for in a woman. If a woman has a lot of mental health issues, a guy's not going to tolerate that, because it means you're gonna turn my kid crazy if you have a kid with you. Right, and out of all things, outside of looks, like to young guys, outside of looks, mental stability is the most important thing in a woman, bar none, without a doubt. I don't give a fuck if you're a loser. I don't give a fuck if you don't make no money. I don't give a fuck if you don't have no friends. If you don't have mental stability, we ain't having a kid. It's just that simple, And you can learn to develop that through constant meditation, constant self-improvement, and going to see a therapist consistently. You could control that, and seeing a doctor, essentially, because if you don't fix this, you're just not gonna find a good guy that's gonna want to stay with you, unfortunately. All right. Anyways, this is Alex, your Talk to Dating Coach. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you guys have any questions about dating advice, ask below. My followers will answer you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video when I'm closing the channel. May the toxic force be with you. All right, ladies. So finally, I have released my second course for women, which is natural chemistry. This course is a 5-week course. 5-week course where every week you're gonna get a new set of videos based on specific issues. This course is all about how to create and maintain the attraction in any man. This will help you create love. This will help you deepen the love with your man. This is not about manipulation. This is not about playing games. This is genuine, natural chemistry. No more short-term partners. No more being fooled. Why? Because I will reveal to you not only how to create attraction in the first week, but also how to understand male nature, how to understand their tricks, how to prevent from being too attached, signs that he's the wrong guy, signs that he's a narcissist, signs that he's a mama's boy, signs that he's an emotionally available guy, emotionally unavailable guy. We go over everything. We go over this third week, setting boundaries. We go over the third week, controlling your emotions, right? Setting boundaries, fourth week. Fifth week, embracing your masculine and the feminine, right? And on top of that, I have over 10 different bonuses. 10 different bonuses. My Lord, have mercy.